Does your family love the comforting deliciousness of hot, fluffy pancakes, but you just realized the box mix has like 4,000 ingredients? Well, look no further because today you're going to learn how you can make them in no time flat using less than 10 clean and simple ingredients. And stick around to the end to see my favorite buttermilk substitute for when you don't have the real stuff. It even works with non-dairy milks. Hi, I'm Kelly, mother of 5 and lover of all things edible. If you're like me and you love food, but you hate all the garbage that's in today's processed foods, I'm here to help. It brings me such joy to prepare scratch foods in my kitchen that are not only delicious, but also simple, budget-friendly, and mostly healthy. You're in for a treat. All right, so today, guys, we are going to be making my go-to pancake recipe that uses 9 or 10 ingredients that everyone pretty much has on hand at all times. And it'll be on the table in less than 20 minutes. Now, I do have a simpler yet equally delicious pancake mix recipe that I keep in my cupboards at all times in case my older kids want to make pancakes and they can just whip it up whenever the mood strikes. And you can find that recipe here. And as always, any recipe I share can always be found linked in the description of the video, and it's in printable form on my website. All right, let's get into it. So you're going to want to crack 1 egg into a 1 cup measuring cup, and then you're going to fill it the rest of the way up to the 1 cup line with your buttermilk. And then whisk until homogeneous. All right, now set that aside and we're going to combine our dry ingredients. I always weigh my flour and a lot of my dry ingredients. A kitchen scale is an invaluable tool to have in your arsenal. I use it anytime a recipe calls for flour, especially, unless I'm making like a roux or something like that I can eyeball. Remember, cooking is an art, but baking is a science. Sometimes you want to be specific. Now, if you don't have a scale, that's okay. Just scoop it into your measuring cup gently and level it off with a knife. Don't pack it down. You want 1 cup of flour. That's 120 grams if you are using a scale. To this, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use coconut sugar, but feel free to use white sugar or whatever else you have on hand. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I like to throw in a generous bam of cinnamon in there. It just gives it a little something special without it being overbearing. Now you're going to just whisk all of your dry ingredients together, and then you're going to pour your wet ingredients right on top. To this, you're going to add about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is my homemade vanilla extract. It's from 2021. It is so good. I recommend making your own homemade vanilla extract whenever possible. I'm going to be sharing a recipe for that soon. It's really simple, guys, but it makes such a difference in your baking. If you could smell this, if I can get the lid off. Oh, so good. Now you're going to start whisking this slowly, and as you whisk it, you want to add 2 tablespoons of melted butter. It's important not to over whisk it. Having a few lumps is okay, but you don't want to over mix it. All right, so set that aside for a few minutes. It's gonna allow it to thicken up a little bit, and you're gonna preheat your skillet or griddle. Personally, I love using cast iron. That's pretty much all I use. We also have stainless steel that we use for certain things. We do not use nonstick or Teflon in this house. In this house, nonstick and Teflon are dirty words. Oh, by the way, if your family is divided like mine and half want waffles while half want pancakes, I have the solution for you. That pancake mix that I told you about earlier works perfectly for waffles and pancakes, so make sure you check it out and add it to your repertoire. I don't think I said that right. If your pancake mix seems a little bit on the thin side, this sometimes happens. It can happen from over measuring 1 ingredient, under measuring another. It's totally fine. Feel free to add up to a 1/2 cup of flour to correct this. If it's too thick, you can also add a splash of milk. All right, when your skillet's hot, add a pat of butter. Carrie is the only one for me. Once it melts and spreads around, it's game on. I like to use a cookie scoop to portion my pancakes, but you can just pipe it, you can scoop it, you can dump it, you can drop it like it's hot, do your thing. Sometimes I rotate my pan halfway while they're cooking just to keep everything cooking evenly because our stove is a little bit finicky. So you want to wait until you see small bubbles starting to form on the top before you flip it over. They usually take about 2 to 3 minutes on the first side and just over a minute on the second. All right, now stack them, slather them with butter and real maple syrup. Please don't use that sad imitation stuff that most grocery stores peddle these days, and dig in. So I want to share my quick tip for how I make a buttermilk substitute for when I run out of the real deal. But first, I want to ask you a question. What's your favorite breakfast food? Let me know in the comments below, please. I'd love to hear your feedback. It inspires me to create new recipes. And if you got value from this video, I'd love it if you'd poke the like button. Okay guys, so my buttermilk tip. It is so simple, and it can also be found by clicking the little card up here. You are going to use 1 tablespoon of lemon. Please use fresh lemon, none of that bottled nonsense, per cup of cow's milk. And you can also use a non-dairy milk alternative. And you're just gonna whisk it, and then you're gonna let it sit about 5 to 10 minutes to thicken up. You can also use apple cider or white vinegar if you want instead of the lemon juice. I just prefer to use lemon juice. And no, you cannot taste the lemon juice or the vinegar in the pancake recipe. All right, so now it's time to dig in. I usually have more butter than this. I'm being conservative because I'm on camera. You know, one time I ate like 7 pancakes. Not even ashamed.